Welcome our friends from Team Chevrolet here to the show and hear about these amazing cars. The green one has been on display at the Team Chevrolet tent. And if you look around, you'll find a few others here at Corvettes in Carlisle.
Need help? Yes. Well, I can get people out of your way, trust me. I'm a very loud voice.
And I can test drive it. Hey. I'll do it.
Ladies first.
Exactly.
Oh, yep, I'm right here.
A lot of that. And it looks so good this time.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Corvettes in Carlisle 2025. Are we having a good time? That was almost good enough that I'm not going to ask a second time. But are we having a good time? It's always better the second time. Does anybody ever go for a third time? Are we having a good time? All right. Yay. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming out. Beautiful weather for Corvettes in Carlisle. And it's just going to be an awesome rest of the day today and tomorrow as well. Make your way around the Aerolardi Fun Field to check out the cool cars on display, both in the general fun field and those that have opted into our reserved and chip circle area of the fun field. We have some cool special displays as well, including our ZR1 showcase, the King of the Hill gathering for Chip's Choice in Building T. We also have the Racers Reunion near the Crossroads and our friends from Team Chevrolet on the Midway as well. Speaking of the Midway, great brands supporting the hobby here, also in the automotive flea market. So if you're looking for those Corvette parts, new or aftermarket, maybe some pre-owned parts for something you're working on at home, be sure to visit all of our great vendors. I want to welcome our panel of guests, which include Tony Roma, Corvette Executive Chief Engineer, Josh Holder, Corvette Chief Engineer, and Austin Fischer, Corvette Product Marketing Manager. Tony, I'll hand you this microphone first. I believe last year was your first time at Corvettes in Carlisle. What was your impression of last year's show, especially since it brought you back?
My impression of last year's show was it was awesome. It was the highlight of the year last year, getting to talk directly with as many Corvette fans that show up here, and what a great time to be involved in the Corvette and talk about these amazing products. So yeah, so I wouldn't miss it.
And Corvette's name has been in the news lately, breaking records and capturing headlines. And you have two amazing ZR1Xs here, and I will let you and your crew tell the tale about what we are looking at. So between Tony, Josh, and Austin, ladies and gentlemen, sit back and let's learn about what Corvette is bringing to the table in 2025 and beyond.
All right, thanks everybody. I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to let Josh talk more details about the car. I just want to say, like I said a second ago, it's awesome to be here and to be one of the people that are here representing Team Corvette, which is hundreds of people back home, and we take all this enthusiasm that you and the love you guys show us, and we try and spread that with everybody back home. These cars we have here, Austin will go in more detail about the exact new stuff. These are the two new colors. You may have noticed some of the news that we quietly did where we went to this place in Germany and drove cars around and did some laps. You know, it may have caught your attention. I was there with the drivers, and I had It was just amazing, the sense of being an American, driving an American product in the heart of Germany, where so many of our competitors are from. And it's just incredible. These cars are truly bonkers. I've had the opportunity to drive all the models up to and including the ZR1X on the ring. And it's like nothing else. What we call the engine is basically it's the straightaway delete. You know, you go through the corners and then you arrive at the next corner insanely faster than you realize and sooner than you think. So these cars are just truly incredible. And then last weekend I was at Pebble Beach. Josh and I were out there, had the opportunity to be part of the unveiling. And so if any of you are Gran Turismo fans, the Vision Gran Turismo car that we debuted last weekend is going to be available for download in the game, which was really cool. We had the pre-release version up at Laguna Seca for people to drive. So just an awesome time to be part of all this. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Josh. He'll tell you more about the technical details.
All right, thanks, Tony. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Let's hear it. All right. The weather this weekend, it's the best weather I've seen in Carlisle. It's feels like 15, maybe 20 degrees cooler out here than it usually is. I haven't sweated through my shirt yet. Tony mentioned some of the news that's come out recently, and we are super proud of it. The Nürburgring story in particular is an example of not just what the cars can do, of course that story is cool, but what we can do, what our own engineers and developers and tuners and all the people that work so hard on Corvettes, their talent and capability. And we have a very deep bench. You may have also heard, since we were here last year, that the ZR1 went out and broke 5-track records. Tony came up with a great name for that. He called it the Hurt Feelings Tour. So we were going around to 5 tracks, 4 tracks, 5 configurations, counting 2 at VIR, and broke records not just by a little bit, but by a lot, with 5 different drivers. Just incredible how we were able to do that. Sorry, 4 different drivers, but how we were able to do that with our own team is really, really amazing. And the work that we all get to do here shows in the car. So you can see maybe when you get up close to these cars afterwards that we have a new interior for 2026. And a lot of the changes that are in that interior are because of feedback we get from events like this, from folks like you, talking to us, telling us what you like, and more importantly for us, what maybe you don't like or what you'd like to see changed. And that feedback goes directly into the car. So you all are helping our very talented team make Corvette even better. The Nürburgring news is another example of that. I heard many times from many of you, when are you going to go back to the Nürburgring? It was almost getting awkward, really. It's like, you guys need to go back to the Nürburgring. I explained that we don't go there to set records, we go there to develop the car. 73 corners of a track like nowhere else in the world. We are there tuning the car, not setting track records. But after pretty vocal feedback from our enthusiastic customers, we knew that it was time to go back, and we're super glad we did. I'll talk a little bit about ZR1X. Last time I was here, we were talking about ZR1, 1,064 horsepower, in case you forgot. Dual overhead cam, flat plane crank, biggest pair of turbos fitted to a V8 engine. It's a monster. It was such a monster that it broke our own dynos, which had already been upgraded prior to testing and development of the LT7. We took that super capable engine and then married it with the electrification and all the lessons that we've learned from the E-Ray. But we didn't stop there. The team decided, how much more can we squeeze a little bit more power out of the front drive unit in the E-Ray? And we were able to do that by using more energy out of the battery. The battery in the E-Ray and the ZR1X it's the same hardware. It's a very small battery, 1.9 kilowatt hours. If anyone is familiar with electric vehicles, that's a sliver of what an electric car has. And it's because the mission of it is to harvest kinetic energy and redeploy it in a way that brings driving excitement and a big wide smile to your face and vehicle handling dynamics that can't be achieved any other way. So using that battery, we're able to use more energy out of the battery and put more power into the front drive unit, we call it, the electric motor that powers the front axle. But we couldn't just do that because the electric motor had already been optimized for the power flow on the E-Ray. So we had to upgrade the electric motor. We made changes to the case, changes to the bearings to be able to handle that additional power. So I've already had E-Ray fans asking, hey, are you guys going to give us an upgrade in our E-Ray? And it's not as simple as just a software download. It's another example of how everything on Corvette is intentionally optimized to work well together. We don't give you anything you don't need and everything that you do. With that all-wheel drive capability comes, like the E-Ray, a whole bunch of traction. That results in some pretty incredible straight line performance. You may have read or heard that the straight line numbers, which we are still working on, are going to be epic. 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds. That's a 0 to 60 that starts with a 1, in case you were wondering. 1 point something, 0 to 60. And a quarter mile in under 9 seconds. 8 something quarter mile. Just go to your Chevy dealership and buy a car, a hypercar, built right here in America in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Engine to front drive unit to the whole car. Nobody else can match the performance of the ZR1X. It's just incredible. Yeah. We made some other enhancements with the electrification in ZR1X, and one of them was the disconnect at top speed, top motor speed for the front drive unit, and we increased that from 150 miles an hour to 160 miles an hour. Right, but okay, that's okay. I'll give you a hint as to why we did that. We did that because we want to make sure we're using the front drive unit all the way through the quarter of a mile. So I won't tell you what our quarter mile speed is. That'll give you a pretty good indication. So another example of what we do to carry Corvette forward, to always continue to improve performance, to build on what we've learned and apply it to a car like the ZR1X. With all that go, we also have to stop. And so you can see on these two cars some pretty massive brakes. I feel like every time we're introducing a new Corvette, we're saying, this is the biggest brakes we've ever done on a Corvette. Yep, that's true, but we keep outdoing ourselves. The brakes on the ZR1X and available on ZR1, we call the J59 brake system. It's got rotors that are 16.5 inches in diameter and front calipers that have 10 pistons. Just a massive, massive brake system. And the rotors are carbon ceramic, but a lot have already commented to me, well, they don't look different than carbon ceramic, and that's because they are different. They are still in the carbon ceramic family, but instead of very short carbon fibers, like in traditional carbon ceramic brakes, like those used on our J57 brake package, these are a much longer strand, and they are built in sandwich layers. They're molded in sandwiched layers, and then cured through some very high temperatures with a ceramic coating, a ceramic matrix that helps tie those carbon fibers together. And that longer carbon fiber helps the rotor conduct heat very, very efficiently, which is exactly what a brake's job is. A brake's job is to transfer kinetic energy into heat. And the better it can transfer that heat into the air and cool off, the better the brake system is. And we've done many, many laps, including Nürburgring, with this brake system. And not only is it super capable, deceleration numbers that are mind-boggling, around 2 Gs of deceleration. It is also very bulletproof, a very long-lasting, durable brake system. We have an example of 2 different flavors of ZR1X here that have a lot of new content, and I'm going to let Austin go through the other stuff that's new in 2026.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. And good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having us. So the 2 ZR1Xs you have here in front of you. And Josh, thank you for the great overview on the ZR1X. One of the other things I was going to add to what Josh was saying, so for the high voltage battery from the E-Ray into the ZR1X, we expanded that usable energy by 26%. So really pushing the envelope on what our Corvette performance hybrid is really capable of. And we also expanded the front drive unit RPM to 17,000. That thing, when you disconnect at 160 miles per hour, is spinning at 17,000 RPM. and it's mind-blowing the achievement of what this car is capable of. And so the kind of the two flavors of ZR1X we have in front of us here is the ZR1X carbon fiber aero package. So you can see a lot of the carbon fiber is standard on the ZR1X, whether your door, splitter, rockers, but if you want the extra downforce, you can get the dive planes, the tall carbon fiber spoiler, and then we have this, you can see the two different hoods in front of you. One has the extended wicker, which creates a lower pressure zone, which creates more airflow up or over the car, which increases downforce on the front of the car. So if you ever notice why that part is there, it has a mission not only to show more carbon fiber, but it also puts additional downforce in the front of the car. So as Josh mentioned, I'll talk a little bit about the 2026 Corvette in general and some of the new upgrades. I'll start with the exterior and then kind of work our way through the interior, and then I'll talk about customer experience with the reconfigured interior and some of our screens and controls. So our two new colors for 2026 are actually right here in front of you. We have our Roswell green metallic right here. It's beautiful, beautiful green, and we have our blade silver metallic. So these are the two new colors available on all 2026 models. And you can see the car here also has the asymmetrical stripes on it, which is a pretty neat combination. They invert each other on the exterior portion of the stripe. The edge red has a black surround, and the carbon flash has a edge red surround. So, and it pairs very nicely with our new interiors. We have 5 new interiors in 2026, 2 of which are also in front of you. This is the asymmetrical red jet black. So you get the driver cockpit is asymmetrical red, and the passenger is a jet black, and you have red stitching throughout to really pair the two together, and you get red seat belts. In this example of the ZR1X, you also have what we call the seat combination, where you have a competition driver seat and a GT2 passenger seat. So if you're someone who likes to track your car, you spend a lot of time doing some canyon carving on the roads, you want that additional support in the seat, but your frequent passenger might like the competition seat. This is the pairing for you. So that's the asymmetrical red, and then on the green car we have very dark atmosphere, which is a espresso brown with a natural stitching, and it's been paired with yellow seat belts to go with the yellow calipers. And so we have these two on display, and we have the rest of the interiors that are new for 2026 in the Team Chevrolet tent. We haven't been over there, but we have a Santorini blue interior that's excellent. We have a blade silver E-ray paired with that. We have a medium ash gray, sky coal gray with habanero accent that's on an orange, the Sebring Orange Z06. And we also have the Ultimate Suede, which is a black, which also has the suede IP. You get that in 2 different flavors. The whole interior is practically suede, and you can get the steering wheel and seats with suede or with leather. So if you want the touching surfaces in leather, but you want the rest of the interior in suede, we've have those for you. So just a little bit about the interior and exterior elements that are new for 2026. And if you've noticed, we have pretty much a redesigned interior. If you look at the new screens on the far left, you have a new auxiliary display. So previously we've had the driver information screen and the infotainment system. So we increased the size of both of those and actually lowered them so you can see out above the dash better and allow your occupant a better view of the screen to have them be more part of the infotainment experience. And we also have the new gauge on the left, the new auxiliary display on the left. So that screen can have additional gauges, G-force gauge, high voltage battery, turbo boost, etc. So your trip information is, your heads-up display controls, your lane keep assist, and also below that is something new for 2026 called launch control. Or we have a physical launch control switch now just below, and so that is where you can actually manually set the RPM and your ELSD slip values you would like to launch the car at, which is a really incredible feature. If you move your way across the screens, we have, in the center display, we have our new performance app. So if you had the 2024 or 2025 E-Ray, you might be familiar with the E-Ray performance application. It's excellent, especially if you're a geek like me. You can really see the front electric motor and the rear V8 kind of working together, and you actually plot your torque and horsepower values right in front of you. And you can see, if you drive a manual car, you know the shift time, we get that momentary lag in acceleration for that dip. The DCT, that time is now decreased to a blink of an eye. And with a hybrid system, the electric motor actually fills in that delay. And so when you see that plot, you can see the linear path of the electric motor filling in, assisting the V8. So that E-Ray Performance app has now been expanded to the entire Corvette lineup, just called the Performance app now. So Stingray, E-Ray, Z06, ZR1, ZR1X all now have this app. We can get tons of information, anything from your power gain, your fuel economy, your turbo boost, engine torque and horsepower, electric motor torque and horsepower, all in front of you. So it's an excellent feature for a driver-centric car. You want to make sure you have all the data you need when you're on the track to optimize your lap times. So that is a quick overview on what's new for 2026. Tony, Josh, anything you guys want to add?
I think Austin covered it well. It's another example of how we're always moving forward, looking forward on Corvette, making improvements. And there's a whole bunch to go through. If you haven't been to the Corvette team tent, I encourage you to do so. We've got the cars Austin mentioned inside that tent and a lot of really smart people that can answer all your questions about what's new for 26. You can try to coax out of them what might be new in Corvette future. They're not going to give you an answer to that. But we enjoy getting feedback and answering your questions. So please see us over at the tent. We have like 5 more minutes. We should try this. We'll play a game of Stump the Chump. You guys can ask us questions. And of course, after that, we'll be around a little bit right here as we get the cars unloaded. So we're happy. If there's something you don't want to ask in public, you can ask us that. But does anybody have any questions they want to ask?
What's the price? Money.
The question was, what was the quarter-mile time and top speed? Top speed, I'll answer, was 233 miles an hour. You might say, well, he's confused. He's talking about the ZR1. Well, no, the ZR1X also goes 233 miles an hour. The physics of the car at that speed are almost entirely about drag. And the ZR1 and ZR1X in this configuration here, our low downforce configuration, is also the lowest drag. And so we'll go 233 miles an hour. Quarter mile time, I gave you the unders, but notice I didn't give you an exact time. And that's because we're still trying to squeeze every millisecond of performance we can get out of the ZR1X. But it's going to be awesome. And when we're done and confident, we will let you all know.
So the question was the starting price, so these start at $207,395.
Are these 1 year old cars?
Max RPM on launch control in ZR1, I think is 3,500. I think I got that right. I don't know, afterwards we'll test and see what it really is, but it varies by engine, which is why it's hard to keep straight. But the idea of custom launch control, which some of you might be aware of, is that you can adjust the engine speed at which you launch the car. So the RPM of the engine at which you launch the car. The more RPM, the more torque. However, the more torque, the more likely it is to break traction. So it's a way for you to balance based on conditions that you're operating the car. You can also adjust tire slip. So that's how much the traction control system is going to let the tire spin before it starts to clamp down on that torque output. So the question was, will there ever be a Zora? Ever is a long, long time. It'd be irresponsible for me to never say that. Yes.
Oh, okay, that's a European car. All right.
So it's hard to hear, so I'll make this our last question and then you guys can come up and ask us. But I think you were asking about the battery and more usable energy that Austin went through and whether or not it's the same battery. If it compromises the life of the battery. And the answer to that is no. It does not compromise the life of the battery. Remember, these aren't lead acid batteries that sulfate. They're a very different technology than the batteries like that. So they can handle battery cycles. It's lithium ion. And even the little amount that we're leaving, we carefully control the state of charge of the battery and how much we're letting you use it to optimize the life of the battery. But you won't have to worry about that extra performance sacrificing the life of the battery. Okay, I'll cut off there. You can come over because it's hard to hear. Anyway, thank you all. We'll see you at the 10, I hope.
By the way, I talk to you all the time. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And it's gone.
Nothing in the United States compares.